The fourth panelist in the row is Rula Al Farra. She is a member of the House of Representatives of Jordan and president of the Freedoms and Human Rights Committee. She has a PhD in Masters in Educational Psychology and a Bachelor of Fine Arts. She has been an editor, program director and presenter for several TV and radio channels, and I think you were the first female parliamentarian to win the elections at national level through a nationwide list. We're happy to listen to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to be here with you. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم صدق الله العظيم. All men are created equal, so are women. But are we? Once Queen Rania of Jordan responded to religious discrimination against women in the world, saying, "We need not judge women by what they wear on their head, we need to judge them by what they have in their head." On the other hand, when I was a little girl, my grandmother constantly reminded me that I'm not a boy. Don't do that, do that, you're a girl, stay here, do not talk, keep your voice not loud, and so on. Fortunately, my mother was not on the same track, and that's why I am been able to be here today, or else I wouldn't. Now, this is the story actually of Arab societies as much as other societies as well. For me, on my personal level, when I ran for parliamentarian elections in Jordan, I faced the same obstacle. When I first ran, I headed a national list in Jordan among 61 national lists. They were all dominated by men, by political tycoons. Only 2 of those lists were headed by women, and I was one of those lists head. Now, some people said, you don't have a chance, why don't you go to the quota system? But many others said, well, you do have a chance and you can break the norm. Building on my credibility when I worked in the media sector, defending people's issues, well, I did break the norm, and now I'm in the parliament. I am the first woman to make it to the parliament through competition on a national list in Jordan. Since 2003 until now, 2013, we have moved in the Parliament of Jordan from 0 female parliamentarians to 18 female parliamentarians, thanks to quota and to the progress in society as well. Now, this moral tells us that our society is progressing, although there are still some voices from the past. Are we tackling women's rights from the right angle? When men politicians usually talk about women's rights, they say, well, you women constitute half of the society. But I tell them this is wrong. We women constitute all the society because we raise the other half of the society. When women are marginalized, it's all of the society that is marginalized. It's not only women. A society, a human society, cannot fly with a broken wing. It needs both its wings, healthy and flicking, to rise up to the sky. There is no democracy without women, because women's rights are human rights. There's no good governance without women, for we are the least corrupt and least inclined to trade public interest for our own interests. There's no good decision-making without women, for we use both our hemispheres when men usually use their left hemisphere. There's no peace without women, for we take social, emotional, and moral considerations into account. There's no future without women, for we are the agents of development. This logic needs to be made obvious, but unfortunately it isn't the case for many societies around the world. In the beginning of history, human societies were matriarchal. Yet, when roles changed for both men and women, authority took patriarchal forms, and this is where human suffrage started. With the change of roles, the social status for women changed, and thus their rights were negatively affected. With men dominating politics, economy, religion, science and technology, and even arts and literature and media, women rode in the back seat. This was accompanied with a cultural conception of women being physically and mentally weak, and a religious conception of them being sinners. Two ideas that developed into a trend where women were treated as sex objects, inherited as property, and were subject to violence and degradation. Fortunately, this reality is changing, with the change in our roles following the industrial, technical and IT eras. Women now are steering economy, making policies and reshaping societies through creative leadership. Yet, gender gaps still exist. What could be done to bridge those gaps? Is there a way for equality? Well, yes, there is. Unfortunately, it's not a highway as suggested in the paper. It's a local road with lots of bumps, lots of traffic lights on the way, and we have to ride on that way. Now, what needs to be done? I propose 10 solutions. First, keep on driving our car. We need more female role models all over the world, more successful women in the tough fields classically dominated by men. Will it be through quota? Well, let it be. In the parliament, municipalities, governments, boards of directors, but we need to modify the quota system to bring quality women, for their performance is our sole guarantee for change. Second, reduce poverty rates. Poverty is women's biggest foe. It is the iron barrier that blocks our capabilities and diminishes our rights. It prevents us from being the catalyst of sustained development, which takes us back to a lower status that we are fighting to change. Why not establish a world fund for the economic empowerment of women and the reduction of poverty? This fund could deal with both organizations and individuals on big, medium and small level businesses. Labour and social security laws also have to be constantly modified to assure better conditions for us women, and it is about time we count for home economy as a real part of our official economy. Women are heavily involved in non-structural, non-organised economic activities, and neglecting our productivity in those areas is yet another act of discrimination against us women. Government budgets also need to become sector-oriented and gender-sensitive, which will pave the way for us parliamentarians to push for bigger financial cuts for women empowerment programs. Are we full citizens? Well, apparently not. Despite CEDAW and BPFA and the Millennium Declaration and all UN resolutions and conventions, women are still treated as second-class citizens all over the world. In many societies, women are unable to pass their citizenship to their spouses and children. Some of us are denied the right for education and self-actualization, and some are not allowed to choose their husbands and where to live and how to move around. Some are not allowed to vote or run for elections, and some marry at the age of 9. Some are abused and denied basic freedoms, and some get parts of their genitals removed. What to be done? We need to change constitutions to covertly state equality and place international accords related to human rights in a position higher than constitutions if necessary, and change national laws and legislations accordingly. 4. We need to eliminate all kinds of violence against women through specific legislations that are rigorously applied, and we need to change the stereotype depicting women as a source of physical pleasure, not a source of mental challenge. We need more women to win Nobel Prize and other global honours. We need to allocate funds to support female researchers, for our private space often hinders our potential more than men. Positive discrimination is needed at this stage. 5. Laws concerning marriage, divorce, custody, petition and inheritance need to be revised to achieve equality and endorse women as full citizens. 6. Educational curricula need to be restructured to promote gender equality through teaching success stories for women as much as men and changing stereotype roles. 7. The female image needs to be restructured in media and art. Instead of focusing on Angela Merkel's necklace or Michelle Obama's dress, media should catch the heart and soul of women in leadership. It's about time now that we female parliamentarians push for a global accord that criminalizes all acts against women, including distorting our image in the media and using our body as a tool for marketing. Parliaments should adopt such measurements into national laws to restore women's dignity. 8. We need more specific microdata concerning households to better comprehend and analyze gender gaps in different regions of the world. 9. Over centuries, females learned to conform to societal norms and were taught to be negative, dependent and submissive. They learned to be followers, not leaders. That's why women often do not trust themselves or other women. We need to reinforce self-esteem among women and change socialization types, creating androgenic personalities where both males and females enjoy the better qualities of feminism and masculinity. How? This effort should be led by ministers of health and education to educate and train the new parents on how to enforce gender-neutral behaviours, games and social activities. 10. Networking. We can learn from each other. This is one of our strengths. When a woman hits a rock, she often turns around because that is what she had been taught. And that is why we don't have many women in politics, for politics is a giant rock. We need to listen to each other and to each other's experiences and let them inspire and motivate us. And we have to pass our wisdom to young girls to raise the foundation we have led. Well, are we few? Are we incapable? Look around you. Look at this hall and dare tell me that we are few and incapable. Together, with all this wonderful leadership in this hall, we can make miracles happen. Together, we pave the way for change. Thank you.
Thank you.